Here comes the music.
Okay, everybody, lie down on the floor and keep calm.
Excuse me, where is the bass drum?
Welcome to a musical journey back to the 90s. This is the DJ Family's Ultimate Eurodance Mega Mix.
Music is the vibe, so open up your eyes. We belong to the light, we belong to the thunder. We belong to the sound of the words we both fallen under. Whatever we deny or embrace, for worse or for better, we belong together. Many times I've tried to tell you, many times I've cried alone. Always I'm surprised how well you cut my feelings to the bone. I don't want to leave you really. I've invested too much time to give you up that easy. To the doubts that complicate your mind. We belong to the light, we belong to the thunder. We belong to the sound of the words we both fallen under.
Welcome back to a series so Yahoo! Even the boy Mario subscribed. In today's video, Asmongold has responded to Hassan obsessing over his viewership, accusing him of viewbotting. He calls him insecure and jealous. A new channel has popped up on the top of Twitch with 200k viewers. It's a bunch of British guys openly admitting they are viewbotters. They're accusing Asmongold of missing last month's payment of $50,000 and exposing him for allegedly viewbotting. Hassan is eating this story up, instantly believing them despite them clearly being trolls. Hassan pulls up their stream and to his surprise, they turn around and call him a terrorist. The viewbotters successfully drop Asmon's views from 100k to 50k, but can't seem to go below that. Hassan is instantly skeptical, saying there's no way Asmon could have 50k real viewers. He somehow finds a way to blame SlopTubers, aka me, saying that everybody hates him now because of watching YouTube drama and getting their politics from YouTube drama. Again, your clips, pal. Hassan is back glazing North Korea again. You cannot make this shit up. Asmon has called out Hassan for his take on Cuba while he was crashing out over singer Camila for speaking out against a dictatorship. After the backlash, Hassan is interviewing a totally non-biased Cuban journalist, saying communism is good, guys. Subscribe or Hassan diddy's your pica. Don't even ask me what that means. You're simply cooked.
Let's up those numbers!
Now let's begin. Right, welcome back everybody to Unemployed News here at 5. So, quick context if you missed last episode, basically Hassan was crashing out over Asmongold's viewership, and he was crying about viewbots for about an hour, saying that Asmon is actually irrelevant and his entire viewership is just bots, right?
Asmon with 100k viewers, Hassan with 20k, you might be an Asmongold fan. You're that stupid, most likely. Dude, he's dominating you. He's dominating you right now. He's view mocking you. Are you guys actually mentally disabled? Like, unironically, are you medically stupid? What's going on?
And then ironically, he proceeded to get botted himself, and he got up to 350k viewers. Totally real, obviously. And then he completely changed the narrative, saying that it's a conspiracy by his ops in order to get him banned on Twitch for viewbotting. Some real mental gymnastics there.
Oh, now we're getting botted. Look at that. The same bots that were botting Asmongold are now botting my ass. 40,000 viewers. Oh my god. How strange that I brought up the very obvious, malicious, flagrant botting going on, only to get botted myself.
So Asmon has responded. Asmongold claps back after Hassan pulled down his pants. Okay, sorry. Pulled up his stream stats and accused him of botting. Asmon also started laughing after finding out Hassan is losing 7 followers an hour. Meanwhile, he's gaining 157 followers an hour.
Also, like, look at his follower count. So, like, I'm getting 400 followers, I guess 157 an hour, right? I'm gaining 157 followers an hour. Hassan is losing 7 followers an hour. So, like, I mean, you see this looks pretty bad. He's live, and I'm live, and he has my fucking Twitch tracker statistics, analytics going over my graphs. I don't think that I've ever seen a person be as openly jealous and envious as Hassan. Like, I've never seen a person be so openly jealous, envious, and insecure. It's actually impressive. Like, in a way, I kind of respect it, right? Because, like, you're really wearing your heart on your shoulder. If you're not feeling like you're the good boy or you're the special boy, you are crashing out in front of everybody. And it's like, that's exactly it. Yes, you're seething in front, like, oh my God, who does this? He has this, like, I think that he has, like, an inferiority complex about this, where it's like, okay, well, if this person's getting way more views than I have, that means that they're right and I'm wrong. Like, this is, how do you think like this? There's, like, this is what Twitch chatters in, like, 2017 thought. You're a grown-ass man. How do you think like this? It's so stupid.
20k are on busy days, like 32k, which is legit numbers. Wait, no, I'm not at fucking 20k.
I'm not at 20k. I'm not at 20k.
No,
oh
I'm
my
at
God.
30 to 40k.
I'm at 30k.
Okay,
30
calm
to 30,
down.
40k. No. Jesus, I have never seen a person be so openly insecure. And especially considering Hassan's very successful, I've never seen a person as successful as him be so openly insecure. This is amazing.
Dude, I don't know how he does it. How does Hassan manage to be the most miserable person ever, bro? This guy could have like $1 billion and still not be happy. Legitimately, just crying every single day nonstop. And I'm so shocked, guys, just like Kaya, of course. The guy who actually threatens his own life in his Discord if his viewership goes down. He's actually really sensitive about viewership, guys. We didn't know this. We didn't know this. I honestly thought Hassan was a guy completely unaffected by the internet.
How can I be okay? I hate all of you!
And I feel like now I know why Hassan isn't a YouTuber, right? Because on YouTube, if you go to the analytics, basically they give you this 1 of 10 shit where they rank your last 10 videos, right? And that's instantly on your feed. And they're basically spamming these red down arrows, right? Even if you're a YouTuber who does really well, you have 10 banger videos, the 11th one will still be a red arrow because it's comparing to the last 10, right? So you would have to continually get more views until the end of time, right? Which nobody can basically do. And if Hassan ever saw that, he would probably off himself, right? Like, that's how sensitive he actually is, which is why he just stays on Twitch. And then he has, like, his editor basically upload everything. But yeah, at this point, it's getting so embarrassing because he unironically, frantically checks Asmon's analytics. You know, people are usually checking their own analytics. Oh my god, how am I doing? Hassan goes and checks Asmon's viewers. Like, dude, and it's in public. He ain't doing this off stream. He really sits there and goes, oh my god, today I'm getting close. If we just remove the view bots, surely I'm just as popular. Okay, buddy, back to the nursing home. There is no Asmongold. You're 80 years old and you're schizophrenic. Trust me, he doesn't exist. Imagine degrading Asmon over and over for his looks, opinions, only to discover that the general public finds Asmon way more engaging, entertaining, and thoughtful. And then crashing out over and over. That's the thing, like, anyone next to Hassan sounds like a reasonable person. Asmon could be a deranged lunatic for all I know, but he would still be reasonable in front of Hassan because he's just that fucking crazy. Hassan's biggest problem is listening to random people in chat when they come from other streams to try and piss him off. That's the only reason Asmon's name was brought up yesterday. Okay. Now, this is extremely naive. Someone clearly hasn't been watching the legendary series, okay? Hassan picks the chatters, okay? You realize this, right? There's a billion chat messages. He specifically picks the Asmongold messages because he wants to bring him up, okay? He needs to find an excuse to pull down his pants. Okay, I need to stop. I need to stop. To talk about him, right? ASD, Asmongold derangement syndrome. Unironically, he could get diagnosed. Moving on to the view botters apparently exposing themselves. So it turns out a random channel popped up on the top of Twitch with 200k viewers, and it's just like a bunch of British guys admitting that they are the botters. And the fact that they can just do this on stream just shows how completely incompetent Twitch actually is. They are literally doing jack shit as their platform is being hijacked. Dan Clancy quite literally jacking it as we speak. So they basically started exposing everyone, and now they're accusing Asmongold of not paying them $50,000 as last month's payment for the view bots. So they're saying that Asmon pays $50k a month for view bots. Now, pretty much anybody can guess that's a load of bullshit, obviously, but Hassan here immediately just goes with it and he's creaming himself.
Confession, 188,000 viewers. Asmongold, 106,000 viewers. What the fuck's happening? I don't even want to click on that because I feel like there's some fuck shit going on there, but these are the botters, allegedly. Why are they botting? Chatters were saying it's the botter exposing Asmon. Wait, why were they botting me too then? Twitch sending me a notice that your stream is taking off. Wait, what? Twitch sent a notification? To your point, Twitch just sent me a notification telling me about an uptick in viewership. Oh my god, this is how they game the system, is an automated notification? So Twitch's internal system unironically rewards people who are fucking botting, even if it's someone else botting their fucking channel? This website is so fucking busted, dude.
We've been growing all these like famous careers for like years, and Asmon stopped paying us. Mainly Asmon. We've really been doing Asmon. Asmon's been our main guy who's been feeding us for like years, and he basically stopped. And it happened because we fell into an argument when the bot bugged out, and he wanted us to view bot other streamers as well, so it doesn't look like it was just him. And then he stopped paying us, and now.
Lately, the internet has become obsessed with looks maxing, be it mewing, excessive steroid use, bone smashing routines, and even leg lengthening surgeries. It feels like we're in uncharted territory, but if I'm being honest with you guys, it's not worth getting your cortisol spiked over. Jackasses have been trying to improve their looks via dangerous and unorthodox methods forever. Today we'll be taking a look at various instances of people's looks maxing attempts backfiring in severe fashion. And with that, why don't we begin with this guy? The legend of Synthol Man. Meet Brazilian bodybuilder channel. The Portuguese title of this video translates to Learn How to Train at Home. In it, Rodrigo shows people what he describes as his home workout routine, which is essentially him gyrating and dancing around half naked in his bedroom like a Temu version of Ricardo Milos. This video was very much posted by Rodrigo as a flex, a showcasing of his physique and an attempt to gain a following from it. And it is certainly quite the build that he has here. Most of you are already noticing some wacky proportionality here. His shoulders have this disturbing looking asymmetry to them. His pecs are so bulbously swollen that they look like they could pop at any moment. And of course the guy's trap muscles, it makes it look like he's a little kid wearing a muscle suit Halloween costume that you purchase at Party City. I, for one, would never do something like that. Something was fishy about this guy's build, but Rodrigo said in the description of his video that it was all natural. I mean, come on, that's like me saying what's left of my hair is all natural. Y'all know I'm medicated for that shit. Rodrigo, quit capping, bro. The comments to Rodrigo's muscle showcase video were absolutely brutal and about as offensively 2009 as it gets. You have the most ridiculous body ever. Dude, what's that? Natural? What the hell is that? Get a grip, you idiot. You look awful. Your trapezius muscles are messed up, your chest is messed up, your arms are messed up, and you come here telling us it's natural. Go fuck yourself. You'd be lucky if it were silicone, kid. It's just pus all over your body. In response to the millions of views and thousands of comments roasting him, Rodrigo, very much unfazed, responds back with this. Quote, I'm natural. I've never used anything. I've got good genetics. To be able to criticize me, you should be taller than 1 meter 95 centimeters and weigh more than 100 kilograms. If that's not the case, I don't want to listen to your review. You'll only be one more fan of mine. Women love me, my fans. The totally all-natural bodybuilder would continue uploading in the face of his detractors, publishing close to 30 YouTube videos, many of which further showcased his truly diabolical upper body physique. While Rodrigo was making a fool of himself on YouTube, folks around the web and on bodybuilding forums had pretty much narrowed down what they believed Rodrigo was taking to enhance himself. Synthol injections. I think those of you watching this video that lift may have heard of this in your time on the internet, but it's such a ridiculously weird approach to looking big. I don't think people ever really look into it in a serious way or understand exactly what it is and why it's so dangerous. Synthol is just one of many dubious site enhancement oils used by fringe bodybuilders. It typically consists of 85% oil with the rest of the solution being lidocaine and alcohol. Since synthol isn't a legitimate cosmetic procedure or medication, guys who use it just shoot it up on their own accord. And a lot of them end up with infections at the injection sites, resulting in inflammation and pus-filled cysts forming. People have died from abusing site enhancers like this before. especially those who got carried away with puffing themselves up. The use of synthol is one of the ultimate sins in the bodybuilding world. It's both ineffective and dangerous. Only a truly delusional person would use it. Speaking of, despite his potential indulgence of it, Rodrigo always denied the synthol allegations, maintaining for years that his build was achieved through the unimpressive fitness routines that he showcased in his videos. The guy became so infamous in Brazil for his bizarre physique that he was once brought on national television, where his weird muscles were made a spectacle of, and he was made to perform like some sort of sideshow act.
Pode chamar uma gatinha aí pra conferir, então.
Quero chamar alguém? Eu vou chamar uma gatinha. Com licença, eu posso pôr o dedo aqui? Deixa eu ver. Eu não sei, hein? Eu não sei não, hein?
I've been pretty rough to Rodrigo so far in this story, but I do actually want to give him some credit for being a good sport about his online ridicule. Unlike what you see with modern internet lolcows, Rodrigo very rarely, if ever, responded in a hostile or combative way to his online detractors. Rather, in what I would describe as totally base behavior, he simply said that he was natural and doubled down further into his delusion, and continued posting videos showing people his routines and physique. The guy literally did not give a fuck, and there's something weirdly admirable about this. Rodrigo would post his freaky workout videos for a few years, but eventually the macabre interest in his activities would fade, and so would Rodrigo from the internet. Considering his impact as a living meme on the early online bodybuilding community, every now and then people will take to weightlifting forums and ask the question, whatever happened to Synthol Man? Well, unsurprisingly, like many accused of using Synthol, it turns out the guy may have died. In his early 30s, no less. While I must say this is not a confirmed report, an individual who is purportedly Rodrigo's sister has made numerous Facebook posts since as early as 2015 mourning the loss of her brother. One from December 9th of 2015 reads, "Today was your birthday, my brother. I miss you so much. You were a very special person. Eternal longing. I love you forever. Only memories remain." Another post from 2018, which features a photo of Rodrigo, says this: "Missing someone is something like this. An endless agony. A pain inside the soul that cries inside me. Missing someone is a small river that runs towards the sea." Rodrigo has completely disappeared from the internet for over a decade at this point, and considering the apparent hospital photo and these Facebook posts, I would be lying if I said I didn't personally think he was dead. I do want to say for the record that we don't officially know if Rodrigo ever used Synthol, and we certainly don't know why he passed away if that is the case. Whatever the case, the legend of Rodrigo lives on in the re-uploads of his videos and forum posts talking about his antics. Yakuza penis enlargement surgery stabbing. In the world of male looks maxing, some consider your dick size a part of the overall attractiveness equation. And in case you didn't know, there are cosmetic procedures to enhance yourself if you're lacking. So how did a penis enhancement surgery result in somebody getting brutally stabbed and another person getting life in prison? 80-year-old Satoru Nomura is considered one of Japan's most feared crime bosses. The man is president of the Yakuza group Kudo-kai, which is said to be one of the most violent groups in Japan. During his heyday, Nomura had gained quite the vicious reputation, running numerous crime rings involving real estate fraud and illegal gambling dens. He'd also be accused of heinous violent crimes as well, including the shooting of a leader of a fishery business for allegedly refusing to do deals with the Yakuza. He's also accused of ordering a hit on a retired police officer who was investigating the Kudo-kai, allegedly ordering this lawman to be shot. But we're here to discuss a killing spurred by a penis enlargement surgery. The story goes that in August of 2012, Satoru had undergone cosmetic surgery at a Japanese clinic. It turns out the guy was there for some hair removal, and also he was getting a bigger samurai sword installed, if you catch my drift. Yes, the Kudo-kai crime boss went in for a penis enlargement surgery, but it seems things didn't go as planned. You see, after it was completed, Satoru wasn't all too happy with the procedure. But it wasn't because it was a botched job. His ire wasn't towards the surgeon. Rather, it was towards a nurse, a woman who was in charge of the aftercare following this man's surgery. It was reported that Satoru became jilted after this nurse allegedly dismissed his complaints about pain and had jokingly told him, quote, "This can't possibly hurt as much as getting one of those Yakuza tattoos," unquote. Satoru was not one to be disrespected, even in ways smaller than his original penis. And so, in response to this nurse's comments, Satoru told his assassins to teach her a lesson on his behalf. The Yakuza member who executed the boss's hit was a man named Yoshinobu Nakata. And on January 28, 2013, at around 7 p.m., Nakata allegedly approached the 40-something-year-old nurse from behind on a walkway as she commuted home. Seeing his chance, Nakata began stabbing her in the head, neck, and chest and fled the scene after. Thankfully, these wounds would not be fatal, as she was found alive and reportedly made a full recovery. Reportedly 2 days after the stabbing, Satoru attended an examination at the same clinic from before. During the visit, the cold-hearted crime boss brought up the stabbing and said, quote, "If a person causes damage, well, some things cannot be helped." Soon, though, the Japanese courts would learn of the hit and saw this as an opportunity to lock up the Yakuza boss for good. Nomura was later arrested and in the coming years would finally have to face justice for his previous crimes, charged for not just ordering the nurse attack, but for the fisherman union murder we mentioned earlier, the killing of a dentist, the police inspector shooting, and tax evasion. The boss would deny the accusations that he was the mastermind behind these crimes. But on August 24th, 2021, a Japanese court would sentence Satoru Nomura to death for all of the violent hits that he had ordered. The man became the first designated Yakuza boss to be sentenced to death in Japan's history. Quote, "I asked for a fair decision. You will regret this for the rest of your life." Years later, in March of 2024, a Japanese court overturned Nomura's death sentence, though he still will remain in prison for the rest of his life. It's insane to me that one of the largest criminals in Japanese history was taken down in part by a penis surgery gone wrong. But hey, it's almost as if nothing good comes from the quest for vanity. Powering up here. All right, let's lock in. Who are we talking about next? So next, we want to talk about another example of one of these jacked up injectors. There have been many other so-called synthol men that have gone viral on the internet after Rodrigo. One that I'd like to discuss briefly is currently at risk of having both of his arms amputated because of muscle injections, the Russian Popeye. This is Kirill Tereshin. In this photo, the guy looks pretty normal, a healthy young Russian man. But years later, he looks like this. Yeah, pretty rough. What happened here?
Hi subscribers. It's been almost 3 months since my surgery. It was on this left hand. But as you can see, I still have a scab here. It's almost gone.
Kirill Tereshin, aka Russian Popeye, aka Bazooka Arms, first became popular on Russian social media back in 2017. Citing self-image issues, Kirill began a fitness journey which he documented on his social media accounts. While initial progress was hopeful, as years went by, it became clear that Kirill had started overcompensating and injecting his muscles with chemicals to make them look bigger. Kirill has actually admitted to doing this too, it's not speculation, saying he injected his arms with a petroleum jelly solution to puff them up in this ridiculous way. Much like with synthol, these injections resulted in a truly freakish look, with Kirill's arms ballooning in size while the rest of his body looked like Kip from Napoleon Dynamite. It's pretty hideous looking, but Kirill says the women loved it, and even if they didn't, he personally liked the big-ass Popeye appearance that it gave him. The thing with Russian Popeye that's different about these online freak synthol users is that he's been reinforced to do this to himself because he's actually made money from it. Because of his freakish popularity on social media, he gets tons of views on his content, which has brought in good money. He's a modern circus sideshow act, and this guy will do just about anything for a buck. Kirill has been roped into MMA fights. He's subjected himself to slap boxing humiliation, and he's been in a litany of just stupid social media videos that make him look like a buffoon.
As I've already stated, there is absolutely no competition whatsoever in this world we live in.
The more Kirill pumped himself up with the oil, the more views he received. But eventually the stuff started eating away at his body. In 2019, Kirill had to receive multiple surgeries to remove what has been described as 3 pounds of dead muscle from his arm. The surgeon described the inside of his arms as, quote, all functionally important nerves and arteries are woven into a ball of scars and oil, unquote. It's like the inside of bro's arms are like the ocean from Iron Lung. So the procedure was successful at removing the dead tissue, and there were some truly harrowing aftermath photos shared by Kirill to the web. Pretty grisly stuff here. You might expect this to be a wake-up call for the Russian Papa. Though considering the photos on screen, it clearly wasn't. Kirill continued to use his oil injections on his arms, and even started modifying other parts of his body to where his face is beginning to look like a fucking Bogdanov twin. The guy clearly suffers from extreme body dysmorphia and is addicted to social media attention that he gets from poisoning himself. Photos throughout the early 2020s show his arms ballooning further, with disgusting inflammation and disproportionality. All of this self-abuse would come to a head in late 2025, with the Russian Popeye facing an ultimatum. Around this time, Kirill had developed a deadly serious infection throughout his arms due to the abuse of the oil, and he was at risk of losing both of them or even dying. The only way to save them was for doctors to essentially hollow him out and patch what was left of his skin and muscle together using grafts. Kirill went through with the procedure, and as you can see in recent photos after the recovery, Kirill's arms seem to be mostly drained at this time. In my opinion, this is the final chance for Kirill. If he goes back into abusing oil injections after that last post call, he's losing the arms. I mean, look at them, they're barely holding on by a thread as we speak. I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see what this guy does. And I've gotta take this thing off because I'm burning up. We're going back to default mode. Where's the shirt? I can't mog anymore, I'm cooked. The toxic tush doctor. In recent years, the popularity of BBL butt enlargement surgery has prompted some pretty interesting headlines and memes. One of the most disturbing being the phenomena of BBL wind, or BBLs stinking after a while. It's apparently a side effect of botched BBL jobs essentially becoming infected and causing those who get them to smell like rotting flesh. I've got a BBL related story for you right now that's even worse. The case of the toxic tush doctor, unlicensed BBL practitioner whose foul work actually got someone killed. Miami, Florida is one of the most visited cities in the US when it comes to those seeking cosmetic enhancements. Butt fillers, BBLs, breast implants, the modifications you can have done here are endless and ludicrously expensive. And with that said, there are some low budget options available there too if you're willing to take a risk. Enter O'Neill Ron Morris, also known as the Duchess, a 30-year-old transgender woman and Miami-Dade County resident, who in the early 2010s claimed to have the hookup when it came to cheap backside enhancements. She was basically a bootleg door-to-door BBL salesman, handing out her cosmetic surgeries to anyone willing to pay. And the way that she would perform these procedures was extremely unorthodox. She would inject people's bodies with industrial-grade sealants, cement, mineral oil, super glue, and even Fix-A-Flat. Fix-A-Flat? I don't even have a snarky one-liner. That's just fucking unhinged. Naturally, this diabolical plastic surgery would cause many of her patients to fall ill after receiving the injections. Soon, victims were coming forward with complaints, one of which was a woman who claimed she was duped into paying for 6 injections of what was a near-lethal formula of chemicals administered from a tube hooked up to a water cooler. Lord have mercy. One victim that received injections in 2009 would be permanently deformed, not able to sit on her butt, and forced to lay on her stomach for the rest of her life, after it was found out that the substance she was injected with was mineral oil and bathroom caulk, causing her rear end to grow rock hard. Along with her accomplice, a 40-year-old named Corey Alexander Eubank, Morris would be arrested in November of 2011 on charges of practicing healthcare without a license and causing serious bodily injury. In 2013, Morris would eventually plead guilty to 1 count of practicing healthcare without a license and was sentenced to serve 336 days. But it wouldn't be over for Morris, as earlier in 2012, one of the women who had been receiving injections from Morris, a woman named Shatarka Newby, died in a Tallahassee prison after it was found that there was a, quote, massive systemic silicone migration from her buttocks and hips. Before her death, Newby told a Florida Department of Health investigator that she paid Morris at least $2,000 for about 10 treatments through 2007 and 2011 in an effort to enhance her butt, hips, thighs, and breasts. Therefore, Morris was arrested again in November of 2014 and transferred from Miami-Dade to Broward County and charged with multiple counts of practicing medicine without a license, serious bodily injury, and 1 count of manslaughter. On March 27, 2016, the now 36-year-old toxic tush doctor was sentenced to 10 years in prison with an additional 5 of probation, and she would serve her time in a men's prison. While there's a lot of chatter about BBLs gone wrong online today, none of these stories hold a candle to what the toxic tush doctor was responsible for. I mean, fix a flat in the booty is something else, man. Golly. The Gorilla Glue hairspray catastrophe. Having your hair in order is key to achieving a proper looks-maxed appearance. No, this is not an advertisement. Some of you are probably getting wavy web surf PTSD right now. But yeah, looks-maxing your hair is expensive, especially for you ladies out there with all your special shampoos and conditioners and shit. How about a cheap alternative then? Next, we discuss a woman who attempted a truly idiotic budget hairspray technique, only to later end up in the hospital and get doxxed by internet trolls. It all starts with this woman. Meet 45-year-old mother of 5 from Louisiana, Tessica Brown. On February 3rd, 2021, on her TikTok and Instagram accounts under the username DOLady, Tessica would share with the internet a video showcasing what was about to become a world-famous mistake. Her expression aghast and hair slicked back so aggressively that it looked painful, Tessica explains that instead of using hairspray to shape her hair, she had used Gorilla Glue.
Hey y'all, for those of y'all that know me know, my hair has been like this for about a month now. It's not my choice. No, it's not a choice. When I do my hair, I like to, finish it off with a little Got to Be Glue spray. Just to keep it in place. Well, I didn't have any more Got to Be Glue spray, so I used this. Gorilla Glue spray. Bad idea. Don't ever use this.
This is one of those videos where you can tell Tessica never expected it to go viral. But thanks to the sheer stupidity of the Gorilla Glue home remedy that she participated in, her story went all over the place.
Like she was saying losing her hair, but I mean, you might lose some of your damn scalp.
The Gorilla Glue that she put on her hair that made her hair get stuck for a fucking year, I mean not a year, but a month, is a hardware product.
How does she put construction glue, stuff that helps keep things together, in your head, bro? How you did not know?
Practically overnight, Tessica became an internationally famous living meme. They called her the Gorilla Glue Girl. The question at hand, though, what the hell was she gonna do to get that glue out of her hair? Like, it looks like you would damn near need a hammer and chisel to knock that shit out, right? On February 6th, Tessica would update her Instagram, showing her outside the emergency room at St. Bernard Parish Hospital. So it looked like she had finally decided to seek out expert medical help over the matter. A subsequent photo showed her laying down as a nurse prepared her for emergency brain surgery, which would hopefully prevent her from ever doing something this stupid again. I'm kidding, it was some sort of chemical that was supposed to help dissolve the glue. Meanwhile, as Tessica was seeing doctors and looking at her options to remove the rock-solid wig, the distributors of Gorilla Glue actually released a public statement commenting on the viral spectacle. They were saying the quiet part out loud. "You're an idiot, and this is not our fault." The Gorilla Glue spokesperson said, quote, oh, hold up. Oh, shit. Let me translate that from Gorillian for you guys. We are aware of the situation, and we are very sorry to hear about the unfortunate incident that Miss Brown experienced using our spray adhesive on her hair. This is a unique situation because this product is not indicated for use in or on hair, as it's considered permanent. Our spray adhesive states in the warning label, do not swallow, do not get in eyes, or on clothing. It's used for craft, home, auto, or office projects to mount things to surfaces such as paper, cardboard, wood, laminate, and fabric. We are glad to see in her recent video that Miss Brown has received medical treatment from her local medical facility and wish her the best. Usually I see these PR posts from companies and I'm like, yeah, you guys screwed up and are just covering your ass here. But this is one of those rare instances where the company literally did nothing wrong. Like, who would ever think to do something this stupid? Anyways, back to Tessica's removal attempts. The process to try to get the glue out was apparently grueling and to no avail in the hospital. So they sent Tessica home with some acetone and saline and wished her the best. After getting home, the misery only continued. Nothing seemed to work and the glue would remain. Now, many of you are probably like, I mean, for Christ's sake, the hair is a total loss at this point. Why doesn't she just shave the shit off? Well, from what I understand, it was literally bonded to her scalp. So even if you could get a razor sharp enough to cut through all that gorilla gunk, it would probably cause skin damage as well. Essentially morphed into a freak because of her blunder, the woman soon became depressed and her life took a turn for the worse. Tessica had reportedly stopped eating and lost almost 13 pounds. Local school children who had seen her initial TikTok video reportedly started bullying her 11-year-old daughter at school. Tessica reflects, quote, I would go to the bathroom to cry because I'm the reason my child is getting made fun of at school. In addition to all of this, Tessica had gotten doxxed by internet users. And with her phone number getting leaked, she had to deal with near constant prank calling. With her address out there as well, some people sent genuinely disturbing letters to Tessica, not only calling her a moron, but telling her to take a trip on the sewer slide, if you catch my drift. Needless to say, there were a lot of people who thought what she did was stupid, and that she deserved no sympathy. But that wasn't everyone. You see, sometimes people will go so extra hard on someone online that their outrage actually becomes cringe and prompts other people to support said individual, even though said person was being a dumbass. Supporters of the woman's plight would flock to a GoFundMe in an effort to raise money for a treatment that could remove the gorilla curse from Tessica's dome once and for all. And you might be surprised to learn that the GoFundMe would raise over $23,000 in donations. Surely enough to move some fucking glue from your head, right? Tessica would finally catch a break in this story, as in light of the GoFundMe support, a Beverly Hills-based plastic surgeon named Dr. Michael K. Obeng would step up and offer to remove the gorilla glue free of charge after seeing her story online. So with the promise of freedom from her self-induced hair hex, she traveled and would undergo the procedure. On February 9th, 2021, she had the gorilla removal procedure done with Dr. Obeng, who used a medical-grade adhesive remover, an aloe vera and olive oil mixture, and with a little acetone, managed to crack the seal of the gorilla's grip. Some comments from the doc.
The hand was actually very, very tough and very matted down, but she's very, very lucky that she did not sustain a lot of injuries to her scalp. This type of ordeal is no joke.
The surgery, thankfully, was a success, with Tessica she's gone on with her normal life now. Tessica's nightmare was over, and you might be surprised to learn that this idiotic ordeal actually ended up helping people. After being freed from her Gorilla Glue prison, Tessica would donate $20,000 of what she had earned from her GoFundMe to Dr. Obeng's charity, Restore, which provided free reconstructive surgery to people with deformities in developing countries. The other $3,000 from the GoFundMe went to families struggling in Tessica's local area. By the end of things, Tessica managed to turn her looks maxing mistake into something of a side hustle. As of today, 5 years after going viral, she has 1.6 million followers on TikTok, over 500,000 on Instagram, and almost 100K on YouTube. She's reportedly made close to $400,000 between branded merchandise, a hair care line, TV show appearances, licensing deals, and other brand endorsements. The more jaded of you might be a bit irritated with someone doing something so stupid, becoming famous off of it. But she's probably one of the least offensive offenders when it comes to morons getting a career from bad choices online. I mean, at least her mistake helped other people. Moving on. The strange faces of the Bogdanov twins. When it comes to looks maxing attempts gone wrong, I don't think there's a pair of faces more representative of this online than the Bogdanov twins. I mean, these guys are classic internet memes. It's almost entirely because of how ridiculous and overdone their plastic surgery is. With that stated, I just want to have a quick conversation with you all about these two legends. So who are the Bogdanov twins, and what did they look like before their transformation? And what the hell happened to them? Igor and his twin brother Grichka Bogdanov are twin brothers who have made many ridiculous claims regarding their ancestry and superior genetics over the years. Both have claimed to be the descendant of Russian royalty, and each brother claims that they have a respective IQ of 190, which is about as laughably believable as Alakazam's 5,000 IQ. Almost every claim uttered by the twins should be taken with a grain of salt, but something undeniably true about them is that they were TV stars in France, and their entertainment careers is why they are relevant in pop culture at all. During their 20s, the twins found success in television, hosting programs in the late 70s and 80s, revolving around science and science fiction. They'd eventually strike gold with their own science-related show called Tom's X. This was a show where the twins discussed scientific mysteries and the potential future of scientific development. Everything from sci-fi space travel concepts to metaphysical mysteries. But in the context of this video, I must comment that Tom's X is a useful archive of footage to look back at in regard to knowing what the twins looked like before their crazy plastic surgery addiction. The show started in 1979 and ran into the early 80s, making the twins in their early 30s throughout most of its run. And as you can see, before the plastic surgery, they were honestly a handsome pair. Their good looks certainly played a role in regard to their fame in France, with a lot of French people seeing these guys as a unique example of heartthrob twin brothers. And aside from their looks though, the Bogdanovs were academically accomplished. Well, with an asterisk. Both Bogdanovs received PhDs from the University of Burgundy in the early 2000s, but have been heavily criticized for their studies. Specifically, some studies that they published centering around the topological field theory of the initial singularity of space-time. Academic peers often accused the Bogdanovs of being grifters and suggested their papers were nonsense, manufactured by throwing together a bunch of physics jargon to create a bunch of meaningless combinations of buzzwords. These allegations would lead to much controversy and lawsuits over the years. And around the time of their controversies in the field of academics was when the faces of the twins started changing. Their lips became swollen, cheeks puffier, and chins more bulbous. Perhaps their way of coping with being called frauds was to look smacks in the dumbest way possible. The two often got a lot of questions about their grotesquely evolving faces, but bizarrely enough would deny ever having plastic surgery time and time again when asked. Some would actually believe this claim from the enigmatic duo, arguing that their puffed up faces were not from plastic surgery addiction, but rather from a medical condition. Defenders of the twins' legacy have suggested that the brothers suffered from acromegaly. Acromegaly is a hormonal disorder usually caused by a tumor growing on the pituitary gland. The tumor causes an overproduction of growth hormone in the body, which can lead to enlarged-looking facial bones, particularly in the ridges like the jaw, eyebrows, the nose, and the cheek structure. Now, what you're seeing on screen are the faces of people with acromegaly, and I just don't know how else to put it, but that's not what the twins are dealing with here, at least in my opinion. Furthermore, yes, they are twins, but what are the odds of both of them developing a pituitary tumor exactly at the same time and then they start morphing accordingly? I mean, come on, son. It should also be noted that the progression of acromegaly could be cured by simply receiving a surgery that removes the pituitary tumor. Like, that would stop the growth. And you would think that if the twins had acromegaly from a pituitary tumor, they were wealthy television stars, why wouldn't they just have the thing removed and cure it? There's no way around it. The twins had a plastic surgery addiction and were in a losing battle against age and the laws of nature. Despite their denials of going under the knife, there have been some who knew the twins personally that have leaked details of what they actually had done. Luc Ferry, a former French education minister and longtime friend of the Bogdanovs, has publicly gone on record saying that the twins both had Botox injections cosmetically. Another individual close to the twins has alleged